Okay, how to not overthink your story. Whether you're stuck in your outline, stuck in your first draft, you're in your final draft, whether you're ready to publish or you think you're ready to publish, regardless, most of us are overthinkers as writers. Most of us are. Perfectionism, procrastination, a lot of it is because we overthink a lot. And I mean a lot. Is this idea good? Is it good enough? I don't know about this character. I don't know about this placement right here of this dialogue, this word, this period. You know, is the grammar right? Like, hold on, let me reread this setting. Like, did I describe it right? Do you even understand the setting I'm trying to, display and put in your mind? A lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts. And that's really what writing is about, putting thoughts into paper or digital documents, and typing it out. But of course, and I know overthinking never ends well, right? So, this is the tip I want to give you. This is everything I want to leave to the table for this video. If you just walk away with this, it's all you really need. And I don't think I really hear anybody explain this part when it comes to overcoming overthinking, right? Overthinking is a lack of trusting yourself. For real. We all have intuition, right? And we probably have a path for our story where our gut is telling us something, but we're debating it. We're putting doubts on whether or not our gut feeling is right about this character, about this setting, about this direction, this path for the story. And you know why? Because we overthinking it. We're just overthinking it. But yeah, if we just follow our intuition, if we just follow our gut, if we just trust our thought process ourselves, right? If we just trust that in the first place, then maybe we don't understand, or like maybe we don't fully understand why that's our gut feeling is telling us to put this part into the story, like why this idea is right for the story now. We probably don't understand right now, but eventually you will. So you like just put it, like, trust it. Sometimes we just need to trust ourselves and put those ideas down, and it will connect later on. You know, what is that Steve Jobs quote? Like, I think it goes like, sometimes, no, you can't connect the dots moving forward, but you can always connect it moving backwards. It might not make sense now, but when you finish that draft, when you finish the final draft, when you finish that outline, then maybe when you look backwards and you start rereading everything, then is like, damn, that idea really fit perfectly in my story. Then it will make sense. But seriously, it's really all about having faith and trusting the process, believing in yourself. Like, you really want to trust yourself and your capabilities and your talent as a writer. Never doubt that. Once you doubt that, that's when literally all the momentum is lost. And it takes a very, very long time to write a story when you're also battling against yourself. So yeah, that's literally the message right there. You have to figure out how to trust yourself, how to believe in yourself, have faith in your ideas, and stop doubting yourself. Like, literally, why do you not trust yourself? Why not? Like, the idea came to you for a reason, so why not give it a shot? Seriously, why not? And here's another thing too, right? This is the key thing that really helped me trust myself when it comes to writing or in life in general, is like, I trust myself now. This was never the case before. This is literally something recent and new. It's like, okay, well, even if the idea goes bad and it end up being terrible and like one of the worst ideas, and I like literally don't know why I wrote it down in the first place. Like, it literally ended up not making any sense at all. Even if that's the case, I trust myself so much that I know I could overcome that obstacle and eventually a better idea will come later on. You gotta have that type of trust, because that type of trust is also allows you to have patience as well. It's like, okay, well, it's not coming to me now, but it will, because I'm capable. right? It's all about knowing that you're capable. Regardless if the situation, your intuition leads to you something good or something bad. You should be able to believe in yourself to knowing regardless if whether it's good or bad that you could overcome the situation. At the end of the day, you know that you as an individual could overcome situations and handle difficult times if it becomes the worst case scenario, right? So yeah, so that's the more like spiritual, psychological type of reasoning and thought process and message I want to get out there for you, and I'm really starting to realize the importance of like belief and self-belief. Like that's really the game changer. That's a mental shift right there. And deciding to believe in yourself is a decision. If you want to know how to start doing it, it's a decision and it's an everyday decision. That's something to keep in mind. It's an everyday decision because I still have times where I want to doubt myself as well. But you literally should just pause and be like, why? Why should I doubt myself? Decide in that moment that I'm going to trust my intuition. I'm going to trust myself. And you have to decide that every single day. It's not like you decide that one time and then boom, all anxiety and doubts is gone and you stop overthinking. No, 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 no. I still overthink, but I stop myself a lot faster when I decide. Like once I make the decision, like, no, I'm going to trust myself, right? So I'm still making that decision every single day. You have to catch yourself. Like literally, the step by step process is we tend to overthink naturally, right? So sometimes we don't even realize we're overthinking until like we're in the middle of overthinking, right? Because it's so natural for us. Over time, what you want to do is stop yourself, like, or realize that you're overthinking. Like, the sooner you realize you're overthinking, the sooner you can stop overthinking. And once you realize you're overthinking, you make the decision right then and there. It's like, okay, I'm going to go with the idea that I originally thought of before I start spiraling over different other ideas or start doubting that idea in the first place. And every single day you do that until it gets better, it gets faster, you catch yourself more. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if that will stop you from overthinking forever, but it's been the best method for me to at least develop that confidence, that belief in myself. So yeah, another thing I want to talk about a little bit more like tactical, things that you can actually do and stuff like that. If you're overthinking in the middle of your session, right, your writing session, you could do something called brain dump. That's where you just literally, to clear your mind, just write down every single thought that appears in your mind. Just write it down. Like turn your brain off in a sense where turn off your feelings, let's say. Like just write it down. Like if you're overthinking it in your mind, why not overthink it on paper or on the document? Just write it down. Just write down everything you're overthinking about. Seriously. That's why journaling is so good because it helps you just put everything in your mind into paper, and that's how people calm down and clear their mind. And that's why journaling is like a form of meditation because you literally like abstracting all the junk from your mind to an object like your notebook or in the digital world, right? Almost like you're deleting storage space in your mind and then, switching the hard drive or transferring data into something else. let's let's put that into Gen Z words, right? So that helps. That's one way to do it. Another thing is, let's say you're overthinking because you're stuck at a certain scene, and let's say you know what you want to do afterwards, right? Like in the next following chapter, let's say, but you're stuck in this chapter because you have no idea how to like finish this chapter. You could put like a placeholder idea, whereas like whatever you came up with first, even if your intuition is telling you to just write this down and you already know that is an idea that is not really the best at the moment, just write it down, man. Just write it down. Write down that idea, and then you could always come back to it later. I call those placeholder ideas. Like I know it's not an idea that I probably want to keep forever in the story, but it's good enough to where it helps me move on to other parts of the story that I know I have ideas for. So that's another thing. And the final thing I want to talk about is the what if strategy. So essentially that is a strategy where, let's say you're debating between two different pathways of ideas. Like let's say a character has a decision to make in the story that's crucial, and you're not too sure which decision you want to go with that would dictate the path, like the future pathway of the story. Let's say the character is you want to send them to a different environment, or the decision is you want them to stay in the current setting, but that could make a lot of changes, or it could drastically shift the path or what's happening in the story. That's why I like to implement the what if strategy, and that is where I just go break down each path one by one. Whereas, like, okay, if he leaves, right? What if he leaves this environment and go to somewhere new? Then what would happen? What would be the timeline? What would be the events that takes place in that timeline? And I start jotting those ideas down, right? And then until get to the point where I start to think, damn, I'm cooked. Like this is gonna be a great path, a great timeline, because I'm like getting ideas of like what would be my thought process if I went through that path. And it's like, okay, this is cooking, or it's like, damn, nah, this is not it. This is starting to not make any sense. And I do the same thing for the next one, right? It's like, okay, what if I go with this path, and I just start jotting down the timeline of what would be the series of events that will happen afterwards, what would potentially happen if I go with this other path, or this path or that path, right? So that's literally the best way for me to, in terms of tactical ways, to stop overthinking and getting through with the story, especially when you're going through the drafting process. Of course, that's because that's really, you really get stuck in this. It could be really difficult when going through the weeds of the details, right? So definitely. But remember the main message: trust in yourself, have faith, believe in yourself. That's the number one thing you need to remember. Choose that every single day. Choose it. Snap out of it. You know what I mean? Like maybe your cue is to snap your fingers and it's like, oh snap, I'm doing it again. Right? Maybe. So I hope this video helps. That's really what's been helping me to not overthink as much, especially as I finished my first draft, so I'm reading through my first draft and I'm preparing myself for the second draft. So yeah, that's really been helping me so far throughout my process. So you let me know what helps you if overthinking is not a problem, like what helped you during your journey. And yeah, another thing as well, you could click the link down below if you want to book a consultation call with me. I provide suggestions, I ask you some questions, as well as some of my raw reactions, basically essentially feedback, in order for you to complete your outline, or just provide feedback on your outline so you could feel very prepared, well prepared to start your first draft. Or maybe you want me to read your first few chapters of your first draft to see if you're cooking or not, in order to feel more confident to move forward with your draft as well. Is really just to provide clarity. That's the point of the consultation calls, is to provide clarity in a sense, right? So yeah, you could click the link down below for that. You could watch a video here or there to see an explanation of my consultation calls and how I run those calls, and how I read through your story beforehand to prepare for the calls. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. It's 100 degrees in New York, but still got to make these videos, right? Cool. Thank you.